Right, I've done the same thing again. I've started a fly. I'm using 8/0 thread this time because the 12/0 is a bit too thin. This is grey rather than black because I don't have any black. And I'm just going to thin down that hot spot a bit. Get the body going. I'm going to put the hackle on this one so you can see how to do it. You put the braid in and keep it on top if you can, get it all the way down, and then you're just building up the thread on top of it so that the braid doesn't show through. You're trying to keep the taper right. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Right, then I'm going to build up the taper just at the head a bit before I put the dub and the hackle on. So I'm going to wind this up again 3 turns if I can get them in. When dark grey gets wet, by the way, it looks exactly the same as black, so it doesn't really make any difference. And I think I've said to you already, I'm not really convinced that colour makes that much difference. Drift. The Euro Nymph method is all about depth and drift. So what we have there is the same nymph you saw last time. But what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to put a little bit of dubbing on it to hold the hackle up. This is Semperfi Cobbler's wax. It's pretty much the same as every other fly tyers wax you get on the market. Vineyard do a good one, which is just, or you buy beeswax. I don't think it makes much difference. I'm going to do a bit of dubbing. This is Seal's Fur Black. Now, the important thing with dubbing, do not put a lot on. I mean, I've got a pinch like that, and it will create a really fine noodle on the thread, which you can just about see, because all I'm using this for really is to hold the hackle up. So if I wind that on, you can see there's a bit of a hackle on it, but not a lot. No, sorry, a bit of dubbing on it, but not a lot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a CDC feather, wild mallard. Doesn't need to be a big one. Just try and pick one with reasonably good barbs on it. You know, undamaged, not wet or anything like that. So I'm going to use this one. The barbs are quite long, probably too long. I'm going to scratch that one. Right, pick a different one. Let's go with that one. Let's go with that. Right, so I've got one with the barbs are still reasonably long, but it's quite a sparse feather. I'm just going to strip off all the crap at the top of it. Okay, so I've stripped off all the white furry rubbish at this end, and I'm just going to pull it from the other end because you tie it in tip first with these. So you've got the tip, put the good side of the feather towards you. The good side is the bit that's curving away from you. You lay it against the fly and give it 2 turns. 1, 2 to lock it in, and then this bit here, fold it back and just trap it in. 1, 2. Now that bit you can snip off because it's surplus to requirements. So then I'm going to use a pair of hackle pliers because I've got sausage fingers. You can get hackle pliers like that. You can get hackle pliers that look like that. Or you can get hackle pliers that look like that. Any will do. Right, so you've got to be a bit gentle with CDC because it's quite a delicate feather, but you grasp onto the end, right? And then what you do gently is you brush the barbs back, and it's come out. Right, let's start again with that. Bigger feathers are more robust, but their barbs are too long. So, right, let's try that again. We'll just present the feather to it. 1, 2 to tie it in. Come on, play ball. And then 1, 2 to lock it in. I might just leave that there actually and just deal with it later. No, I won't. I'll deal with it now. I'm always worried I'll cut the thread when I do that. So, got to be super... I pulled on it last time, that's why it came out. And you don't want to pull on it. So you fold it back. Hackle pliers come off. They are super delicate, these feathers. So you put it around once. It's 1 turn. Fold it back. 2 turns. And then lock it in. And just lock it in with 2 turns. Just 2 turns. If it looks scruffy, that's the whole point. And then being really careful, just try and snip the hackle stem. There you go. And out it comes. And I've actually not got anything left on that, so that's pretty good. Stroke it back a little bit, give it a couple of locking turns, and then I can never find the bloody thing when I need it. Then use your Mattarelli tire or whatever you use to lock it off. I don't use varnish to finish these flies on the thread or super glue or anything like that. I just tie it off twice, and I've never had one come undone, but even if it does come undone, I'll keep the bead and hook and I'll just bloody retie it. So if I do that, you can see now it's quite dense, probably a bit too much hackle on there, so you can just tear it off a bit. That's better. There you have the same fly with a CDC hackle. When you fish this, it's got a hackle, right? So it will in theory sink a little bit less quickly, but you've got a 4.6mm bead on this, so it's going to sink like a stone. But when it fishes, it just pulses. And probably most of the pheasant tails I tie have got a CDC hackle on them, because I just find it just really picks up fish. Really good. So look, mate, that's how you tie the second version of that fly with the CDC hackle on it.